going on, my people? This is your host, Blanche Eden with Black Trending News. This is episode 24 in season 3. Please go check out the earliest episodes in season 3 and also season 1 and 2. Let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about Kelis. She is an American singer, songwriter, and chef. She is a Leo. And she started her career very early in life. She was 14 when she was admitted into LaGuardia High School in New York, where she learned to play the saxophone and won a spot in the Girls Choir of Harlem. She graduated from high school in 1997, and she took a variety of jobs before landing a backup vocal slot on a single called Fairy Tales released by the American hip-hop group Gravediggers. She then began working with music producers Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo, known as the Neptunes, which ultimately resulted in her being signed to Virgin Records in 1998. Now, there were rumors circulating, of course, that Kelis and Pharrell were dating and in a relationship, but I could not find anything on that. So moving along to 2020, Kelis recently interviewed and had let the cat out the bag. She had mentioned that the Neptunes, Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo, hustled her into signing a contract that said they would split the earnings of her first 2 albums 3 ways, 33, 33, and 33. But that is not how things went. Kelis had interviewed and said that she did not receive any money and still has not received any money from her first 2 albums. That is terrible. She said that she was young and dumb and did not read, and she trusted them, she believed them, and she signed it. And that was that. Once you sign it, I guess, you cannot appeal it, you cannot go back on it. It's signed, it sounds like, you can't argue it. That's crazy. So it is now the 20th anniversary of her Kaleidoscope album, and she is embarking on a world tour to market. And that was, by the way, her debut album. Now, at the time when she wasn't getting paid for these 2 albums, she mentioned that she was touring, and that's why she didn't really feel the lack that she wasn't receiving from the 2 albums, because she was touring. It still doesn't make it right. She should have gotten paid if that's what they told her. She says here, yeah, I'm struggling a little bit. If I'm honest, it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. I feel everyone is expecting me to have these deep thoughts about the anniversary, and I just don't, she says. Kelis goes on to say that she is very proud of her first album, Kaleidoscope. She's proud of the outspokenness of it, the blackness of it, the alternativeness of it. But returning to Kaleidoscope has brought back many bitter memories as much as sweet ones. Kelis made it with her close friend Pharrell and Chad Hugo, aka the Neptunes, after meeting them through a mutual friend at Performing Arts School. She was 19 at the time. She says that she thought it was beautiful and pure in a creative space, but it ended up not being that at all. The story of the music industry is one of young artists getting ripped off again and again because they're too young to understand the contracts that they've signed until it's too late. But what is different about Kelis's case, she says, is that it was her friends who ripped her off. I was told we were going to split the whole thing 33, 33, and 33, which we didn't, she says. Instead, she says she was blatantly lied to and tricked. Those are her words, pointing specifically to, quote, the Neptunes and their management and their lawyers and all that stuff, end quote. As a result, she says she made nothing from sales of her first 2 albums, which were produced by the Neptunes, but she did not notice for a few years because she was making money from touring. And just the fact that she wasn't poor was enough. She's an artist. She probably was really happy just to be on tour with, popular people and just doing her thing and be able to do what she loves, right? Who's thinking about that? And they know that, right? They know that she's not thinking about it. And meanwhile, they're making money off her album and not telling her. Their argument is, quote, well, you signed the contract. And she says her rebuttal was, yeah, I signed what I was told, and I was too young and too stupid to double check it. And just to note here, Pharrell and Hugo have not responded to repeated requests for comment. So, I have to say that because they're not responding they look guilty. They look guilty of doing this. It's not surprising, especially when there's lawyers involved. Maybe they didn't want to do it. I'm just, guessing and just making a guess. Maybe they didn't want to do that to her, but they maybe felt some pressure for some other places so that everybody can get paid more money. Maybe the pressure was on them because she trusted them and she didn't trust the lawyers maybe, and the lawyers were like, well, she trusts you, so go ahead and you do it, and we're going to do this. Who knows how the situation went? Who knows if it's more to it? This is just her perspective, but either way, it's pretty crappy. I'm happy that she's going on tour, though. That's fantastic. She says, to be honest with you, I think if it were not for my faith, I feel like that would probably be the case. It's very clear to me, especially being on a farm, that whatever you put in the ground, that is what's going to come back to you, she says. So she lives on the farm with her husband and her 2 boys. One is the son of Nas, her ex-husband, who has denied allegations of abuse for many years with her. She said that eventually things came crashing down when she made her 3rd album, Tasty, and decided to work with a variety of producers, not just the Neptunes. She said that she got the impression that the Neptunes were offended by that. She also mentions that she saw Pharrell a few years ago and he was performing at an industry event and she was in the audience. Quote, and he did that thing to me that he's notorious for, which is making a nod from the stage to someone in the audience. So it seems like there's mutual respect when in reality, she threw her head back and laughed and said, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to yell back. You stole all my publishing. So you end up nodding back and everyone thinks everything's great. Like, whatever. The reporter asked her, would she work with him again? Kelis goes, at that point there's having faith and then there's also just stupidity. So Kelis has matured. She's realized that these people do not have her best interest. They are industry hustlers and she's learned her lesson. She never do it again. Now, Kelis did not talk about any of this publicly for years. Another secret that she kept until recently, according to her, Nas, her first husband, physically abused her. She mentioned this in an interview back in 2018, 9 years ago, after she left him while 7 months pregnant with their child. He has strongly denied that he abused her. He also accused Kelis of abusing his daughter. So, and like I said before, what man comes out and says that they beat on a woman? Find me one, please, and have them leave a comment in the comment section, okay? Because there's no man out there that goes, oh yeah, I fucked her up. Yeah, I beat her ass and I bruised her body. I mean, they don't do it. Because most men that do that, if not all of them, are fucking cowards. Moving along, right? She says here, she's a very private person, and whether it's the stuff with the Neptunes or being assaulted from a business perspective, to then being assaulted in the home, she fought hard to have her own voice, even with the umbrella of these men looming over her and what she was trying to do. She was not broken. She doesn't feel like protecting the sanctity of the black man anymore, she says. Now, this is a very strong comment. She says, but I don't feel like protecting the sanctity of the black man anymore. Very strong comment. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. This is her experience. This is her testimony. She's not married to a black man. I don't know what race he is, but he doesn't look black. He might be maybe like Middle Eastern. He looks like that, but I don't know for a fact what race he is. He's not a black man though. So she's obviously has moved on to dating outside her race. That's her decision. She's done. She says that she's done protecting the sanctity of the black man. They have screwed her over and she's finished. I had my episodes where I said we can't put all black men into one bucket, but sometimes it looks really gloomy for black men. Unfortunately, with the things that are going on in the media, it just looks bad for them. But I make it a conscious effort not to put all black men into one bucket. It's not easy because that's all I've dated. A lot of black women have only dated black men. So we feel this way, But one day at a time, we should be taking it. She also goes on to say that there were 2 reasons why she decided to leave Nas. One was seeing Rihanna's pictures after Chris Brown had beat her, it was a reality check for her. She also realized at 7 months pregnant, she did not want to bring her son into this world, into this type of environment. She would rather he got a divorce and moved on than to watch her son watch her get abused by his father. I definitely can understand that. And just to finish up here, Kelis says that she's in a fight against people, men really, who continually try to keep her down, but she's always stayed true to herself. Both things can be true with her talent. She should have enjoyed more success than she has. But really, who cares about the bread and circuses? She has her own farm, her goats, and maybe even a cow situation. Kelis has moved on to a more natural and organic life. She's very private. She lives 2 hours outside of LA. She claims that she hates LA. She'd rather live way out there in wine country where it's private and quiet. Her and her husband raise and pretty much maintain the farm themselves. So she's happy. I'm happy that she's happy now. It's terrible what she went through, but she's going on a world tour. So everybody get ready for that. Get ready to get your tickets. If you're a Kelis fan, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think and how you feel. Thank you for listening.